Deanna from Stitches Quilting, and today we are going to make a really fun fall type quilt block. This quilt is going to be called Belong Together, and we are using the Belong quilt block from the Live Well, Live Strong quilt, but we are combining this quilt with our fun, easy pumpkin blocks, and this is the pattern for this, where you can go download that for free. These are some of the pumpkin quilt blocks that come with the Easy Pumpkin fabric, the Easy Pumpkin blocks. So there's a whole bunch of them. There are some with stripes going horizontal, vertical. They've got checks on them, and then they are just a nice, fun, solid, bold pumpkin. So we are going to combine these two patterns, but I wanted to really fast let me know where you guys are from. I am in Salt Lake City, Utah. I did not activate the messaging system so that it will tell you where you can find the easy quilt blocks. So just one moment. Or okay, here we go. Let me go ahead and do this. Let me go and change this post. In fact, I was going to try to get this. Just one moment. Let me see. Here we go. Let's do this one. And I'm going to put another the long quilt block in the live. Oh, sorry guys. I should have had this done. Live well, live. Blah. I hate typing when I'm quilt pattern. So let me do that, and so that you guys can see where these things are at. Control C, and then let me go back to that. Okay, and then that way you guys can just get that. You can find these in on Facebook. You can just let us know that you want to find the pattern of where you can find the pattern for this, or you can also go to on YouTube. It's in the description of the video, and I'm going to show you one more thing just really fast. Let me duplicate this. I want to try something, because one thing that I do is I stream this live on Facebook and YouTube, but what we end up doing is I also stream it into the Everyone Can Quilt group. So the Everyone Can Quilt group is a really amazing group. It's a group of about 25,000 quilters, and it's a group that I manage, and I stream it in there, but they can't get the comments where it tells you where to find the quilt blocks. So I was just going to see if I can try to get that to come up. Okay. So if you want this, go ahead and put in the comments that you're looking for this free pattern. It is free for a limited time because I've got some big plans for this, but you can see the different variations of the quilt blocks that you've got with it. It's a really fun quilt block pattern, so do go and grab that. So that's what these are right here, and we are going to combine that with the Belong quilt block, which is right here. The Belong quilt block comes from the Live Well, Live Strong pattern. So the Live Well, Live Strong pattern is 26 quilt blocks about health and wellness for women. It's really basic stuff. There is fuel, like eating enough food or good food, and sleep that you need. There is leisure and mindfulness and being positive and being genuine or having balance in your life. And there are 26 different quilt blocks, and it's a sew-along that we do. But in this quilt is the Belong, in this pattern, there are 26 quilt blocks, but we are pulling the Belong quilt pattern, a quilt block pattern from the Live Well, Live Strong quilt. So I've sold so many of these patterns, but I thought I'd give you another way to use this pattern, and that is with the Belong quilt block. So this is for all of you. This is the Live Well, Live Strong quilt is behind me, right back here. So you can see it hanging behind me, but this is how the original Belong quilt block looks like. So if you have quilts out there, you're going to want to reimagine what they look like. So look at this. Here's the Belong quilt block, and here it is as the original version. And not all of you guys, it's a 17 color quilt The original fabric bundle for this quilt is right here that you can buy, but a lot of you guys used your own fabrics. But isn't that such a difference between this Belong quilt and quilt block and this Belong quilt block? And I love this as a fall quilt because it just really, oh, whoops, I dropped that. It just really says something about belonging to a community and a group, and especially around fall, I think it's really fun that we also, there's holidays that come up and things that come up, and we want to be able to see those holidays and see those fun things and to participate with them and belong as a community. And I think that's what's so fun about throwing pumpkins in there, because the pumpkins can represent our friends and family out and about in the world or whatever that might be. So, and I have some short pumpkins coming for you and tall pumpkins and some other things. So we're going to do some more of that this week. But let's go ahead and go into the construction of the Belong quilt block. So I'm going to change my camera view for you guys so you guys can see this. Oh, and let me make sure I've got comments. I can see everybody's comments real fast. Okay. Yes, I could see you, Cindy and Cynthia and Linda and Jody and Margaret and Georgina. So this is, I have started, oh, let me make sure that this is, change the camera view. So this is the Belong quilt block right here. And I have most of it assembled. I didn't want to sit here and assemble this quilt block for all of you guys to go through. So remember, this is the pattern. You buy this pattern, you have to purchase. But you've got 26 great quilt blocks that you can use in that quilt and in other projects. And remember, this is something you can do with your own quilts, is reimagine how they are originally used and use them a different way. So the first thing that we need to do for this quilt block is we sew this into units. So I have saved this unit, and this is one of the 4 corner units right here. And I saved this unit to stitch together with you guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our 2 half square triangles and put them right sides together. And we are going to take these and we're going to sew them at a 1/4 inch seam. One thing that's really great about the Live Well, Live Long, Live Well, Live Strong, Sew Along and Quilt is that we focus on each of the topics each week. So we do 1 quilt a week, and then I have worksheets for you guys about belonging or about fueling up your body and being smart about, you know, getting good fuel in you so you have the energy to do stuff and get good sleep. I haven't been sleeping as well. So I last night got the best sleep and it felt so good to wake up this morning. And it's just kind of a fluky little thing. I usually am such a good sleeper. So now we have this little half square triangle right here. And I am now going to match up this half square triangle and this half square triangle with this and build this into this unit. So, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to match this so that these are called dog ears as we are sewing as quilters. But I'm going to match this like this, and I'll stick a pin in it so it kind of matches right there up at the corner, right there. And then I've got my dog ear that's coming off right on the edge. So I want to see about 1/4 inch of that coming off the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and take this over to the sewing machine and sew it at 1/4 inch seam. One great thing about the Live Well, Live Strong quilt is it is a skill building quilt. So it is really fun to build this quilt and make sure that your points are matching. And the first quilt block is just half square triangle. So you build the skills as you keep making the quilt. Hold on, did I sew that wrong? You guys, I sewed that on wrong. It's a good thing I have my seam ripper. I flipped it. I flipped it the wrong way. Okay, that's how I seam rip. Yeah, I use the seam ripper to start. But I have good quality fabric. I always buy quilting fabric, and I am a quilt store. So anyway, okay, let's lay this back down here. We need this dark to go towards the center. You can see that pattern. We need this one to come right here. So I need this to match right here. I sewed that on the wrong side. I sewed it over here on the orange side. I'm going to keep this here and hold it nice and steady. Let's pin it. And we're going to trim off our dog ears. And here's my little corner of the dog ear coming down. Okay, let's go ahead and stitch that. That is so funny. When you do quilting on live videos, you definitely make mistakes. But you also learn things when you make mistakes, right? So that's true in life too. So we always learn things. Okay, let's go ahead and press this. I'm going to put my pressing mat just right here on the table so that it's easier. And I'm going to press it so that the darker fabrics are going towards the other side. So this is a lighter fabric I'm using. So you can see that I'm pressing my darker fabrics, that charcoal gray, to the darker side. Okay, so let's go ahead and now put this unit on here. So this one we're going to go ahead and stitch. Once again, I'm going to start up here at this corner because I want this to be a straight line. I always want my extra dog ear fabrics to go over to the sides. So we're going to stitch right down here. I'm going to make sure I don't pivot this when I bring it around. I'm going to be more careful and have more hindsight or whatever. Here we go. Okay, so we're stitching this together. Now we're going to want to make sure that our points are matching up. Let's go ahead and press this again. And I'm going to have, let's just press this over for right now. And what we're going to want to do is make sure that when we sew this together, that this is matching here. So you can see I've got nice straight lines over here. We're going to trim off our dog ears. Okay, so those are kind of like, they call them dog ears. And now I'm going to take this other half square triangle. Remember, when you're working with triangles, you've got quite a bit of stretch here. You don't have a stretch necessarily on this side or this side, but where the bias is, you're going to feel a stretch. So we want to kind of keep the form of the block without stretching it too much. Now we are going to want to match these up. And we'll trim off our dog ears that are hanging out right here. It's always great to do. And when we sew this, we are going to want to match our seam that is right here in the center. So you can see with my black thread that I've got my seam going different directions here. And we're going to want to open that up. Let me open this up real fast for you guys. That darker side of the fabric, because I do want to be able to show you this. But we're going to want to go through this, go through the intersection of those white stitches. So we're going to want to stitch just slightly to the top of that intersection. All right, so I'm going to bring this over to the sewing machine. I'm going to do my 1/4 inch seam that we as quilters do. So on Friday, I will go ahead and share with you some of the short and tall pumpkins, and then I'll share with you how we are going to construct the Belong quilt, the Belong Together quilt, right? So I'm going to bring this over. I've got that matched and that, going over that seam there. And we'll see if our seams match. So that's one of the fun things about the Live Well, Live Strong quilt is we're always matching our points. So I went over that. Let's go ahead and open it up and see. So you can see I've got just a tiny bit of extra, but that is perfect. Okay, in the pattern, it says to make sure that this is a 7-inch square block. So as you're building it out, you do want to make sure as you build out your blocks that you've got things square. So let's go ahead and just take this over here, especially when you're working with triangles. And I can see that I've got 7 inches right across here. And let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've got 7 inches there. Let's press this one more time. And I'm going to want to square this up just a tiny bit. Okay. All right, let's bring this over. Now we are going to bring these two, this goes this way. Let's not turn it around again. So now we're going to join this section. All of these are 7-inch squares. we're going to join this section right over here. So we're going to do a 1/4 inch seam, and then we are going to join our sections of the Belong quilt block together. I like this Belong quilt block because it just really looked like a community of different fabrics, and there are so many beautiful fall fabrics you can use with your pumpkins and with the Belong quilt block. I think it's just fun to see it. This one actually has crows on it, little crows, and a long time ago my little brother passed away, and he was 25 years of age, and my mother was dealing, this was a really long time ago, you guys. My mom was just dealing with so much sorrow, and I actually lived many states away from her, but I got her a gift. She loved birds, and I got her an empty bird cage and put a picture of our families all together, like my family with her and my stepdad, and put that all together, and I said, birds of a feather should stick together. So then when we made our next move, we all moved to the same town and actually the same street, which was just so wonderful because my mom eventually got diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's, and we were all able to be together and to enjoy, all of our moments together and to take care of each other. So really, I mean, it's just very important that we belong to communities and that we stick together and that we do those things. Okay, I'm just making sure that my seams are matching up. I'm sorry I didn't pin this and show you that I'm making sure that my seams are matching up. I'm nesting the seams and making sure they're going opposite directions. So I love to think about a collection of birds together when it comes to family, because birds definitely, some birds like to live alone, but most birds live together as a small community. I think so. You guys let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong about that. Okay, so here we go. We have our Belong quilt block all put together. Let's go ahead and press this out, this seam that we did right here. I dropped my pressing mat. And then I will be combining these Belong quilt blocks with the pumpkin quilt blocks, which I think is a lot of fun. And I think we can, we don't have to have necessarily a specific number of quilt blocks based on our family or our friends or anything, but I think it just represents really a lot of fun. But I am making sure that the quilt blocks come in different shapes and sizes, whether they're striped, whether they're one big solid piece, whether they come as in a gingham squares, a whole bunch of squares, or however they are. And I've got I will publish for you some short ones and then some tall ones too. So, but the instructions are right here. So if you need let's go ahead and switch the camera. So you can find the free pattern at stitchesquilting.com. Look for the Easy Pumpkin Quilt Block Pattern. So, and this is just so fun, and there's so many different ways to incorporate this. You can make a table runner. Here's where I'm building this out to be a table runner right here. You can make these into hot pads. There's so many different things that you can do. So pick up your free pumpkin quilt block pattern. It's just right there on my website, and it comes in different shapes and forms. And then the Belong quilt block is part of the Live Well, Live Strong quilt pattern. We're going to get ready to do a sew along. In about 2 weeks, we're going to start another sew along for this and go back and delve into all the different fun topics and kind of build our lives up, especially after a pandemic or during a pandemic. So anyways, but I am so excited about combining these. I'm going to do about 6 of these Belong quilt blocks, and I'm going to do a myriad of other pumpkin quilt blocks. So it's really going to be a lot of fun, and I will get that layout for you. So I will be back on Friday at noon for another live, so be sure to subscribe and turn on your post notifications. And then this weekend, my husband and I are actually going to our cabin, so I'm really excited about that. I'll get some fun sewing time. We kind of drive our side-by-side and do some other things, and it's just going to be the two of us. So I'm so excited that I belong to him and I belong to other people, and that we get to spend some good quality time together. So that'll be Friday. I don't leave until Friday night, but I will be back with more of the pumpkin and the Belong stuff. I will show you some more pumpkins that I'm making and have those patterns available for you. And then on Monday, we'll be coming back from the cabin, but I will have a video that we'll post for you that continues on with some of the themes and some of the stitching and the sewing that we're doing this week. So join me for more videos. I love having you guys. Hi, Jane. It's so good to see you guys, and I so adore every single one of you guys. Okay, Denise just said she hasn't finished her Live Well, Live Strong quilt. That's just fine. We are going to, so if you haven't finished it or started it, if you started it and haven't finished it, just join along in the sew along and, work on the different topics each week and do that. If you want to do it again, you can make it as a gift for someone. Do it as a different colorway. We have some different colorways for you. Or you remember you can do the foundation paper piecing. So that is brand new for this sew along. It's going to be 30 inches. We're making the quilt 30 by 30 inches, and it'll be in foundation paper piecing for the second time around, or the large size, whatever you feel like doing. So the foundation paper piecing comes complimentary for a limited time with that original pattern. So and that one was a lot of work to write. So I'm just kind of proofreading just a couple little things and having someone test it real quickly for me, and I'm testing it too to make sure everything's accurate. So you guys have a really good time. I'll be back on Friday at noon. Let me know if you've got tutorials or quilting video ideas. I'd love to hear from all of you guys. Love you guys so much, and we'll see you on Friday at noon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.